Let's talk about sanctuary cities, or as some like to call them, places where criminals run free and steal your lawn gnomes. Spoiler alert, it's not that simple. Sanctuary cities are jurisdictions that limit their cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. They prioritize public safety and community trust by not asking about immigration status during routine interactions like traffic stops. The idea is that everyone, regardless of immigration status, should feel safe reporting crimes or accessing essential services because let's face it, nobody wins when people are too afraid to call the cops when they see something shady going down, except maybe the shady people and the lawn gnome thieves. But this is America, where even something as straightforward as "don't be a jerk" can spark a national debate. Opponents argue that sanctuary cities attract undocumented immigrants and shield criminals from deportation. Supporters counter that these policies strengthen community ties and actually reduce crime. So who's right? Buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into the messy, complicated world of sanctuary cities. Now, nobody does things bigger than California, and when it comes to sanctuary laws, they haven't exactly been shy. California's stance on immigration has put it in direct conflict with the federal government, which, let's be honest, has its own unique approach to immigration. Think of it as a chihuahua barking at a very confused bear. The chihuahua being California, obviously. The federal government, under various administrations, has tried to pressure sanctuary cities by threatening to withhold funding. They argue that California is overstepping its bounds and hindering federal law enforcement. California, in classic California fashion, has basically said, bring it on. This legal tug-of-war has massive implications for states' rights and the balance of power. It's a classic battle of David versus Goliath. If David were a state known for its avocado obsession, and Goliath were a giant bureaucracy fueled by red tape and lukewarm coffee. In the ongoing saga of California versus the feds, things have been heating up. Recently, several California counties have doubled down on their sanctuary status, passing even stricter measures to protect undocumented immigrants. They're basically building a legal fortress around themselves, using the Constitution as their blueprint. These moves haven't gone unnoticed. Conservative groups have filed lawsuits, arguing that California is acting like a rogue state. It's a classic case of, you can't do that, oh yeah, watch me. The outcome of these legal battles could have a ripple effect across the nation, influencing how other states handle immigration enforcement. So yeah, things are tense. Imagine a Thanksgiving dinner where everyone's arguing about immigration policy, but instead of mashed potatoes, they're throwing legal briefs at each other. It's messy, it's complicated, and frankly, somebody needs to order a pizza before things get really out of hand. Remember that chihuahua we talked about? Well, the bear has finally decided to swat back. The federal government, under the Trump administration, has taken aim at California's sanctuary laws, arguing that they obstruct justice and endanger public safety. They've threatened to withhold funding, deploy federal agents, and basically make life difficult for anyone who stands in their way. The Justice Department has even filed lawsuits, alleging that California's sanctuary laws violate the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. It's a legal showdown of epic proportions, with the potential to reshape the relationship between the federal government and the states. But California isn't backing down. They vowed to fight tooth and nail to protect their sanctuary policies, setting the stage for a protracted legal battle that could end up before the Supreme Court. It's a high-stakes game of chicken, with the lives of millions of immigrants hanging in the balance. Section 5, Divided Houses, Local Reactions to Sanctuary Laws. Here's the thing about sanctuary laws. They're not just some abstract legal concept, they have real-world consequences for real people, and they've sparked a firestorm of debate in communities across California. Some folks are all for it, praising the policies for promoting public safety and fostering trust between law enforcement and immigrant communities. Others, however, are singing a different tune. They argue that sanctuary laws attract undocumented immigrants, shield criminals from deportation, and make their communities less safe. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, and it's led to some pretty heated debates in town halls, community centers, and probably even the occasional backyard barbecue. The tension is palpable, with both sides deeply entrenched in their beliefs. It's a stark reminder that immigration isn't just a political issue, it's a deeply personal one, with the potential to divide communities and pit neighbor against neighbor. Section 6. A nation divided sanctuary states versus anti-sanctuary states. The battle over sanctuary cities isn't just happening in California. Oh no, this is America, where we like to supersize our conflicts and turn everything into a national showdown. Across the country, states are picking sides, enacting laws that either strengthen or dismantle sanctuary policies. On one side you have states like Oregon, Illinois, and of course California, which have doubled down on their commitment to protecting undocumented immigrants. They're basically the rebel alliance of the immigration debate, fighting against what they see as an overreaching federal government. On the other side, you have states like Texas, Florida, and Arizona, which have implemented harsh anti-sanctuary laws. They argue that they're just upholding the rule of law and cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. But critics argue that these laws are discriminatory and create a climate of fear for immigrant communities. It's a classic case of states' rights versus federal power, with the lives of millions of immigrants caught in the crossfire. The outcome of this battle could have far-reaching consequences for the future of immigration policy in America. Section 7, inside California's SB 54, a closer look. California's SB 54, also known as the California Values Act, is like the Beyoncé of sanctuary laws, bold, powerful, and not afraid to make a statement. This law, passed in 2017, limits the cooperation between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities. It's like telling ICE, you can't sit with us. SB 54 prohibits law enforcement from asking about immigration status during routine stops, holding immigrants for ICE without a warrant, or using local resources for immigration enforcement. It's basically a giant do not enter sign for ICE agents trying to access local jails. Of course, like any good piece of legislation, SB 54 has its critics. They argue that it hinders federal immigration enforcement and makes it harder to deport dangerous criminals. But supporters counter that it strengthens trust between law enforcement and immigrant communities, making everyone safer. It's a classic case of you be the judge. Section 8. The positive impact of sanctuary policies. Now let's talk about the purported benefits of sanctuary policies. Supporters argue that these policies actually make communities safer. How so? Well, when undocumented immigrants trust the police, they're more likely to report crimes. It's pretty basic stuff, really. Think about it. If you're afraid of being deported, are you going to call the cops when you witness a robbery? Probably not. You're more likely to just keep your head down and hope you don't get noticed. But when immigrants feel safe interacting with law enforcement, it creates a climate of trust and cooperation. This leads to increased crime reporting, stronger relationships between police and the community, and ultimately, safer neighborhoods for everyone. It's a win-win situation, unless you're a criminal, in which case, it's a lose-lose situation. Section 9. The legal battle for sanctuary. The legal battle over sanctuary cities is like a reality TV show. It's dramatic, it's unpredictable, and it just keeps going on and on. The Trump administration sued California multiple times over its sanctuary laws, arguing that they violate the Constitution and obstruct federal law enforcement. The legal arguments get pretty complex, but basically it boils down to this. The Trump administration claimed that California was overstepping its bounds by interfering with federal immigration enforcement. California countered that it was simply exercising its right to refuse to participate in what it considered to be unjust and harmful policies. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court, which ultimately ruled in favor of California on some points but left many questions unanswered. The battle over sanctuary cities is far from over, and it's likely to rage on in courtrooms and legislatures for years to come.